Kolegové, já se vás dovolím znova pozdravit.
Dear colleagues, welcome again.
Ještě počkám, aby jsme všichni byli vybaveni sluchátkami.
I will wait for our international guests to take the headphones. I would like to thank everyone for being back on time. I'm glad that we have almost the same composition of participants as during the first block. Now we are about to start the second block of today, which will basically be the last block of the Hydrogen Forum held in Usti. And here we will focus on best practice in implementation of projects that are linked to support to development of hydrogen economy. We will have 3 presentations by our colleagues from Germany and Poland, and I'm very happy that our colleagues from Germany and Poland have joined us. But before that, let me welcome Mrs. Kateřina Konečná, Czech member of European Parliament. I'm very happy that she has come to this conference. And I would like to hand over to Mrs. Konečná now. Could you please make a comment on our joint activities? In December last year, Mrs. Konečná helped us organize quite a successful negotiation with all Czech MEPs, where we presented the current situation of the Czech Republic in the area of hydrogen economy, and we informed them about the issues and challenges that we have to tackle. Mrs. Konečná, the floor is yours. Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. Yesterday you heard my colleagues who certainly told you about what is being prepared, how it looks like. I will not read my speech. I will just tell you a few practical remarks on the situation of the Czech Republic, but also the European Union. If anyone thought, and I'm being quite sincere now, that the European Union and the European Commission will finally understand that Green Deal can only be hardly applied, it didn't happen. And Teresa Ribera refuses to say nuclear energy, and they want to follow what they have outlined. So there is no self-reflection on the side of the European Commission. In the European Parliament, however, a majority is being formed that could fight for these things. If you don't want to cancel bullshit, something that doesn't make sense, then you have the others that will who will ensure that we will be happy, and they will also be happy. And in Northern Moravia, we have a saying which says that you do at least something to make everyone happy. And hydrogen is a strong decarbonization element. However, not enough people talk about it, and we do not know how to deal with hydrogen as an element for decarbonization. In the Czech Republic, we said that a part of decarbonization should happen thanks to hydrogen. When I came a while ago and I talked to some of you, I understand the skepticism, because the things are not going on as they should, although it is possible in the Czech Republic. I think that it will be highly necessary that we should use the open window in the European Commission. I think that some documents will be reviewed. I think that the delegated act should be revoked totally. It should be rewritten so that it makes sense. But when reviewing a series of documents, we could start opening the topics. We could start discussing it. We could exert pressure on the Commission, because the Commission wants something, the Parliament wants something. And if we find a majority of Czech MEPs And if we find partners from Germany, Poland, the Netherlands, Denmark, then we can exert pressure in the context of reviewing Green Deal. There will be elections in the Czech Republic in October. I'm not sure what the outcome will be, of course, but it's key that new government says in its manifesto that these issues should be part of the government plan. Minister of Transport, Minister of Industry and Trade and Minister of Environment are not cooperating enough. And I think that we need clear coordination of these three ministries. We need to have a defined timeline. We should know who wants what. We should know where the funds are. We should be able to interconnect it. And even if miracle happens in Brussels, it would not help us here in the Czech Republic without this. So please don't be over-skeptical, because regardless of whether we have a left-wing or right-wing or center party, we need the three ministries to cooperate. Pressure should be exerted on these ministries from the level of political parties or the Prime Minister, who should give instructions. I hate government plenipotentiaries, because if you don't want something, then you should always establish a working group. That's how it is everywhere. But thanks to legislation in the Czech Republic, thanks to distribution of money, there is no other way to do it. So I would like to appeal to you to coordinate the steps very fast and very soon. What will be agreed with the government in the first 6 months after the elections, then it will be easy to implement it. We need to work within the European Parliament, and I'm glad that your delegations of experts also came to the European Parliament, that our colleagues could hear it directly in Strasbourg. You told them about your challenges, and we were told what we should do. And I think that we should not give up, because if we exert sufficient pressure on certain sections of Green Deal, we need to perceive hydrogen as an opportunity, not a threat. And it will also be thanks to hydrogen that we can fulfill more than we might expect. I would very much like to tell you that Brussels has woken up, but unfortunately not. To the contrary, I think that some people just exchanged trousers for skirts, but their rhetoric is just the same. But we need to speak about it at any relevant moment. But on the other hand, our government also has to fight for this. And when deputy ministers and officials stop going to negotiations, and if ministers finally come to the meetings, then something can change. You know, no one will speak about a political act with a deputy minister or an official. And if government understands that you can also change things, then I'm convinced that the next hydrogen forum within a year's time will be a moment when we can discuss relevant opportunities and how we can deal with it, so that the calls are not cancelled, but that the calls are here to boost not only Czech economy, but also the European economy and the regions that need it most. I personally promise that I will do my best. My door is always open in the European Parliament. We received a delegation of all parties, apart from STAN. So my colleagues do have all the relevant information. And together with Mr. Kroutílek and Mr. Knotek, we can coordinate all these activities quite efficiently. Do not hesitate to contact us. Do not hesitate to exert pressure on us. If you send us a third letter, then we realize that our help is really needed. But a great deal has to be also done here in the Czech Republic. If it's not part of the government manifesto or a manifesto of the relevant ministries, or if it's not a task for a coordinating body, then unfortunately the chaos that we have created will just keep worsening. And we have to deal with these challenges. And I firmly believe that the next year will be a year of celebrations with champagne and balloons. Thank you very much.
Dear member of European Parliament, thank you very much for those very factual information. And I believe that this is a great motivation and a driving engine for our future cooperation and even cooperation on international level with our German and Polish colleagues. We are very happy that this cooperation intensifies every week, and I firmly believe that our effort can really bring us the fruit of our work. Now, let me invite other participants on stage. Frederik Wewetzer, the head of HZWo Research and Transfer Center, and each presenter has 15 minutes. Frederik, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much. Let me just say that we as association are really open also to join forces with our neighbors in Brussels. I think we are in continuous talks about that, and I'm really looking forward to this year's Hydrogen Week in Brussels, and we are in the process of making plans, so if your doors open, be prepared that I might step through it in the end of September. I was following the first panel with high interest, and I think that, Daniel, your suggestion regarding the Spanish approach is a really interesting one, but to be honest, I think unless we make it happen to overthrow capitalism, and count me in on this, then it's probably going to be always more attractive to sell new cars for both of our national economies. And this is kind of the direction that I want to go with this presentation regarding our activities as HZWo, as Technology Association for Hydrogen, and also with our newest and biggest flagship project, the HIC, Hydrogen Innovation Center. Because like the feeling that I got when I saw Ms. Mansfeldova and the gentleman here on stage is that a lot of the activities going on in this Interact project mainly focusing on this first line that you can see on the slide. And from our point of view, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Because that kind of value chain that contributes to the use and production of hydrogen, of course, is essential and is really, really important. But if we, from my point of view, compare our natural circumstances as Germany, as the Czech Republic, to, let's say, Spain, I think they are just in a better position to produce renewable energy. So for us association, the question is what can be our slice of the cake that is called energy transition. And from our point of view, we have to target the second value stream that comes with the transition, and that is the product value chain. And those are the panels that you can see below on the slide, the big, from our point of view, big part of that triangle. So we're going to target to become the manufacturers for the overall systems, but those systems, again, they consist of subsystems, of components, and you need both a lot of know-how on how this stuff works and also on how to produce it. If the market ramp-up comes, you need a lot of stuff in good quality in short time. How are we going to do this? And this is exactly what we as association are focusing on. Just to give you a brief idea of our general structure, because even to me it is sometimes a little bit confusing. The top branch is HZWo, our European network, our association. We are a certified European technology cluster, and on the both national and also on our regional level, we have flagship projects that kind of justify and also enable us to do certain activities. One, on the German level, that's the one I'm going to mainly focus on in this talk, is of course the HIC, the Hydrogen Innovation Center, but also due to the situation that our association was founded in the city of Chemnitz, close to the Czech border, in the Free State of Saxony. We also got an assignment by the government of Saxony to act as the Hydrogen Competence Center for the government. To be honest, that is kind of a fancy name for you guys are responsible to bring life to that paper that is called the Hydrogen Strategy. But, and that's what I really like about this paper also states in one of the 24 measures, it's measure 4, that the cooperation, and especially in the energy sector, the cooperation with our neighbors, the Czech Republic and Poland, have to be prioritized, and that is of course a task that we are really, really happy to fulfill. Just to give you an overview, this is a short zoom in on Saxony, the funny bird-shaped Free State where we are from. You can clearly see where our heart chamber beats in the region of Chemnitz, but the association kind of outgrew Saxony and even Germany. We recently welcomed our first member from the Czech Republic, company Devon, where we're really glad about that. And our newest member comes from the Netherlands, the company Risato. So we are spreading over Europe, and therefore we see ourselves in a really, really good position to kind of unite all those who want to participate in that product value chain within our association to find synergies, because we believe now is the time to cooperate and to push the market together in order to later be in the position to have a challenge on who is going to sell what in what area of the world. And with that kind of mindset, we, as of now, unite over 150 members worldwide. You can even see a dot in the USA and Australia. Don't know how that happened. But actually, I do know how it happened. It happened because of this. That is one of our, I think USPs that we bring to the table as an association, our open source stack. I know it for myself, when I was still working in the automotive industry, we wanted to develop a clamping system for the fuel cell stack, because as you know, fuel cell stack consists of a lot of fuel cells that are stacked, and they have to be together, not too tight, not too loose, so you have to find the right force to kind of keep this together. And we wanted to develop that, and we were thinking, okay, let's just ask, for example, Bosch, they are a long-time customer, they're going to tell us at least some key figures, like not the exact numbers, but maybe some forces and some material behavior. And that was stupid, because they didn't. Of course, they did not. So basically, we were standing there with a project idea and nothing to develop around, and this is exactly where the open source stack steps in. We have this available within the association as 3D data, as CAD data, and also as a physical model, and that you can see it on the slide, the 4 key areas that we want to tackle. We can give this fuel cell stack to, for example, the automotive supplying industry to get them in actual touch with the technology to help them to develop their products that they can then, of course, market in the hopefully soon faster expanding hydrogen market. And that actually works. We have a few companies who are selling, for example, those clamping systems to both fuel cell and electrolyzer manufacturers, and we are currently working on, together with our partners in Chemnitz University of Technology, to make that open source stack bigger, so that we at one point can maybe put it in another open source platform that we have in the association, the so-called open source car, to make that actually drive with the fuel cell stack, which would be kind of cool. And we will also go and work on changing this into an electrolyzer, a PEM electrolyzer stack, and we're going to be ready with this open source platform by the end of the year. I have been traveling quite a lot through the Czech Republic in the last 1.5 years, so this all might be familiar with you. And now up to the fun part and to the new stuff that I'm really, really happy to present to you today. Because on 6th of March, we went to Berlin. I personally lost my passport, but in return, we got a really, really nice other document, namely the letter of funding from the Federal Ministry of Transportation, over 84 million euros that we get to build the National Hydrogen Innovation Center. And to do that, we founded a new 100% company, the HIG GmbH that is now, kind of our sub-branch for this big task that lays in front of us. This is the layout that we want to, or that now we have to, because the funding letter is signed, that we don't have to put into action. And you can see also down on the slide that we still had to bring 6.5 million euros of own funds into that project to make it happen the way we want to do it, and also the way we have to do it, because of course we did not just think about any kind of testing infrastructure ourselves. We were in constant conversation with our members, with our partners, to tailor this center to their specific needs as much as possible. And even though I'm aware of the fact that the stuff that we are going to do now is PowerPoint and the building is not there yet, I think we're still going to dive a little bit deeper into what you can expect close to the Czech border in the city of Chemnitz. Those are the services that we are going to provide within the HIC. You can see it's the stuff that you would expect from a testing facility. And of course, we're going to combine that with the already existing networking activities that we have as an association. And it's really important to me to point out that even though you see a lot of tasks on the slide, I think you get the point, that's not all connected directly to the building and the test infrastructure that's going to be inside it. Which is why I want to make you aware of the fact that we are offering those kind of services that are now outlined in that kind of weird construction West Orange as of now. Within that kind of sub-project that we call the HIT Research and Transfer Center. So what we're going to do here is, of course, support with our engineering team the development of fuel cell stacks and electrolyzer systems, of course, kind of thinking that open source stack concept to a more commercial level, that we can develop a specific tailored solution to you and your product that you might want to sell in that circumstances. We're also conducting feasibility studies and market studies. Actually, we're currently carrying out one for a company here from the Czech Republic, which I really like that fact. Well, of course, we also have a simulation team that can simulate existing components and also check them for their suitability for hydrogen applications. And one point that I want to make is that we also want to be active on the more PR side of things, because we know that, for example, this 3D model of those explosion model from the open source stack that you saw earlier on the slide, this is actually already in use for a lot of our member companies on their website, colored in their company colors. But we also want to make that kind of visualization of your components and your market potential, let's say it with a little bit more of technical expertise in the overall visualization. So if something of this sounds interesting to you, get in touch. As it happens, this is my main task since 1st of April to develop these kind of services within the HIC. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into how the big building or the three parts of the building are actually going to be structured. You can see there are 3 areas for the HIC, and sadly the one that I'm looking forward to the most is going to be the least prioritized, because the office is going to be nice. You can see a roof garden. I think it's really, really fancy, and I don't know who approved that, but I'm not going to complain. But of course, this is going to be the last one that's going to go into action. We actually are going to start with the one that is on your right, the proving ground. We think we can go into working by the end of next year, and then of course we're going to go with the lab, and the office is going to come last. This proving ground, as you can see here, is going to be, basically an open space suitable for container solutions, with the aim of both giving an opportunity to showcase your demonstrator solutions and also giving possibilities for endurance tests, because especially in the electrolyzer industry, as of now, most of those systems are tested on site by the customer, and I don't think that this is a good way of dealing with that if you want to provide a reliable and sustainable technology. We're going to have a grid connection, of course, a hydrogen and media supply, and as of now, we are still kind of in the final phase of shaping the area. So if you're interested in that kind of testing, get in touch. We might take your needs, your specific needs for that kind of solutions into account in the final stage of the planning. Here you can see our lab. You can see we're going to have some test stands, single cells, short stacks, and full stacks, and also a whole vehicle lab for full vehicle solutions, a workshop for assemblies, and of course the basics like material characterization, measurements, and also gas analytics. I think another USP of that center is going to be those rentable labs. If you look at the slide, they are looking kind of empty, and that's the whole point of it, because these labs are going to be equipped with two sorts of media supply, one being a basic one with just hydrogen and nitrogen and some compressed air, and also a kind of more equipped one with oil-free compressed air and also humidity regulation. The thinking here is that if you want to kind of get involved into these kind of testing business, but you either don't want or can't deal with the big investment into these safety standards and the general media supply, then these labs are out there for rent. And I can tell you, because I live there, Chemnitz is a really, really nice place to rent because it's really, really cheap. Then, of course, the office. As I said, fancy building, but nothing spectacular to see here. We're going to have seminar rooms, of course, our offices for the association, and also kind of a marketplace that we see as a networking platform, of course, for events, for smaller workshops, and all that kind of stuff. And I want to point out as a last point that even though this is all, as of yet, as I said, PowerPoint karaoke, we are not building on the complete green. There is an area with already an existing infrastructure regarding traffic. We're going to be really, really close to the area called Techno Campus in Chemnitz. It's not about music, it's about technology. Close to the university, to the Fraunhofer Institutes. And of course, the city has also seen that kind of chance and wants to develop a whole industrial area devoted to hydrogen with the HIC as the nucleus, with the infrastructure that's going to be there. I think this is a really, really nice place to relocate maybe your business to. We actually were in Rotterdam last week at the World Hydrogen Summit, and yeah, people were coming up and showing interest in moving their business, for example, from Turkey to Saxony because they think it's just a nice environment to do so. I was a little over time. I'm sorry for that. That's the news from HZWo, and thank you very much for having me.
Chtěl bych ještě jednou Frederikovi poděkovat. Já vždycky oceňuji jeho
Frederik, thank you very much once again.
I řekněme apely,
I always appreciate your appeals that you show us how we should perceive the area, that we should see it as a complex area and not to see it only as someone producing liquid hydrogen and someone using it, but the technologies are highly important for that. You know that yesterday I also commented on this. In the Usti region we have technology-oriented companies that can produce significant components of the hydrogen economy or the packs. And by the way, I think that this is something where we should further develop our partnership, because there is important cooperation between Czech and Saxon companies. Frederik, thank you once again, and let me now invite the second speaker on the floor. Again, it will be a rose among the thorns, Joanna Tokarczuk from the Association for Development of Energy Innovations, and she will introduce the activities that they focus on.
15 minutes for me. Thank you very much. Thank you for introducing me, Karel. Thank you for inviting here. I think that we are here not only to talking, to listening, but to make connections and new projects. Yesterday was a big day for us. We had an idea and came to one new project, so yeah, it was very important. Today I will talk to you about our association. We are not the Hydrogen Valley, so it's not a typical point of view in European Union. We are something different. We are an association, so we are NGO, which works on 3 pillars. The first here, yeah. The big one. Thank you. Yeah. We are the energy cluster coordinator. What does it mean, energy cluster? It's a special way of energy communities doing in Poland. Around 7 years ago, people in Poland invited a new way of thinking about the energy communities. Energy communities in European Union are basically thought and bring up to life as for normal, typical, common people, not for business. And we thought that the main problem in, especially in energy system in Poland, it's not the people, the common people, but the business. The business needs green energy to change their lives. And we thought that it could be a great idea to make a cluster, so energy community for communes and business, making them together. And this is one of the first energy communities in Poland, that cluster. We are the coordinator as an association for this cluster. What does it do? It is an agreement. It is not a body. It is an agreement between the communes and the businesses. The business brought up to life a lot of green energy in our region, and we are trying to put this energy into the local communities, to the local governments. One of the main projects nowadays, we have the artificial power plant. We will bring it to life next year, so yeah, fingers crossed. Our second pillar of our organization is the community educator and the promoter of mindset change. Why? I think that nowadays, in a lot of countries, first in US, nowadays in Poland, on this Sunday, we can see a lot of changes, a lot of bad things happening that I'm not proud of it. And we have talked with Karel yesterday that one of the reasons, I think, it's that people need to be good educated. They really believe in everything that they are hearing or seeing on TikToks. And there are a lot of bad people with bad knowledge and bad intentions. That's why I think that we need a lot of change in the mindset of people, starting, of course, with the children. You can see the children. We are in almost all our schools, kindergartens, and saying truth. What is Green Deal? What is green energy? What is transition? Why do we need to close our mine in Turów? Because our association, I live in Czochralski. This is a small town nearby the Turów. I know that a lot of you, especially in Czech Republic, heard about Turów and heard about our miners. They don't want to be closed, of course. And a lot of people doesn't understand why it needs to be done. So this is our goal, to change the mindset. Few years ago, 5 or 6, we have met with Karel on energy transition, in just transition in Görlitz. There's a platform for regions like Usti region, which are going away from coal. And as you can imagine, Turów is also in coal, has a coal mine. But our government said that this coal mine will be closed in 2044. So our region nowadays is not in just transition fund. So we don't have any euro for starting our transition. But this transition is going on, but it's not fair, especially in our region. But of course, we cannot only say everything is bad. We have to do something. When the doors are closed, we have to go through the window or through the chimney. So we are doing a lot of projects as an NGO. A lot of things. I have brought here with me for youth only 3 of these projects because they are connected with the hydrogen. I think that I truly believe that the hydrogen is our way to change our world. It's not, of course, ideal, but it's nothing better nowadays. So the energy transition needs to be involved with hydrogen. One of our projects, I will tell you about 3 our projects. One of our project is Biodeck. Biodeck it's a construction of a biogas plant from the stream of food waste and of course a small hydrogen inside. So I'm not thinking about the projects with hydrogen, only hydrogen for hydrogen people. It's a part of whole energy transition. And this Biodeck project is a special project for me. Why? Because as you can see, this town, this picture, it's Bogatynia. Bogatynia, of course, is nearby the Czech Republic border and the Germany border. And there's our power plant and the coal mine, which the waste heat from the power plant is going to the whole city of Bogatynia. And of course, it's brown, it's black, as you can see. Our project will fulfill in the 4%, only 4%, but let's start with something, green heat into the town of Bogatynia. So let's start with small steps. We don't have such amount of money as the German partners, as you can see. But it's a first step, baby step, and now fingers crossed because we are waiting for the final decision to have money for this project. Another project that we are in for a couple of months, it's HZWo project. It's a very, very big project for us as a small NGO from small town. It's a project for the first time that we are in that is led by Italy, but the money comes from European Union, not through the government or not through the regional agencies. It's inside of the heart of the European Commission. I think that this is a good program for us, but I'm really fond of projects that are really small and doing small steps, and this is a very big project. We are learning on it. We are responsible as a Polish partner for all the Polish partners in this project. We have university in Polkowice and we have Innovation AG. This is the first very good think tank and startup from Zgorzelec, which invented the first Polish electrical car. And together, and these 3 project partners, we are responsible for making a regional center of innovation in Poland for hydrogen, because we need to, the first people, so not the first infrastructure. The first, we have to have people with knowledge, and that's why we need to prepare educational program, course, training sessions and seminars in the University of Polkowice. This is very complicated project, very big project, a lot of partners. The main leader is from Italy, and we have also a project partner from Ghana. this is very something good for me. I would like to go there, of course. But not only projects for going somewhere and see the sightseeing, but Africa, I think it's the place that really should start something with the hydrogen because of, you know, the sun. A lot of participants, a lot of work, and a lot of money. I think that this kind of projects, we have talked with Karel yesterday, it's a good opportunity, but in the same time, this kind of projects, you know, thinking about the colors of the logo for 3 months, it's not a good spending of time. Yeah, so that's why sometimes we need smaller projects to really change the mindset of local communities. We are responsible for this package 7, so we are setting up an establishment of regional H2V coves. And this is my baby, my project, Treeland. This is the Cross-Border Transformation Center. Why am I talking about this project on the hydrogen conference? Because people, local communities, don't understand anything about hydrogen. We are in the bubbles. We are together. We know what hydrogen is, what is transition energy, but the local community think about the hydrogen only about this what blew up. Yeah, and that's why. We need to change the mindset of the people. We have thought about this project not only about the hydrogen, but about the transition. You know, I have a lot of educated and intelligent friends in my community that they are saying that energy transition and the Green Deal, it's only something that bad European Commission thought, and of course the bad Germans, who would like to close our minds. And this is the common talking in my region. I think that a lot of people in Czech Republic think this way too. That's why we need to change their mindset about telling the facts, not the myths. We are with Treeland. As you can see, it's a tree land. So Czech Republic, Germany, and Poland. But nowadays, for the Interreg Poland-Saxon, it's impossible to have a Czech partner. So that's why we have the project name Tree Land with two countries. But we will make it some kind of better. We have some work packages. For example, contact box. So this is the platform that you can sign in, and there's a lot of knowledge about the transition. The knowledge not set like, you know, in a way of in the offices do, in the commission do, or the professors do, but this is the knowledge brought into the platform for a common people. We have multipliers, so we are doing the certificate courses for the people who are involved in local communities like city councils or offices. We have arenas. Yesterday we have a very important arena in Zgorzelec. What is arena? Arena, my husband yesterday told me, okay, what is arena? Are you fighting there? Like in Rome? No, this is the place that yesterday we have 50 people from Polish and German side to talk about the transition. We had LEAC. This is the company from the German side and the Polish side. So a lot of tasks. Here you can scan the QR code. I know that you are not from this region, but there's a lot of knowledge that you can really adjust to your places. So thank you very much for inviting me. I hope that some of our projects will be inspiring for you. Thank you.
chviličku vyčkám, až si Joanna...
I'll just wait for Joanna to take her headset. Joanna, thank you very much for this interesting presentation. And I think you proved again that we can work absolutely naturally among ourselves. We cooperate really fluently. And you've mentioned the aspects in your presentation that we commented on yesterday in many details. And of course, those aspects that include raising awareness, breaking the myths, spreading truth. Yes, in the room next door, there is a discussion ongoing regarding this, the communication, raising awareness, how we want to spread information. And this is something absolutely crucial for us. And we have to begin there with spreading information if we want to achieve something. So thank you once again. And I confirm, yesterday it was a very productive part. That means the third glass of wine when we agreed on a new project that we want to participate in. And let's hope Frederik will be a part of it and other partners as well. So thank you once again. And I would like to invite Piotr on stage. Piotr doesn't make it easy for me because the name of the cluster is Czochralski Holding, I hope, yeah? But Piotr is multilingual. He speaks Polish, English, Czech, but he's going to present in English this time. And you can ask him questions in Czech if you want to.
Dobrý den, děkuji vám moc krát za pozvání. Já budu vás prosit o něco pochopení, to je první moje prezentace.
Hello, thank you very much. I would like to ask for your patience. I wanted to present in Czech. I studied Czech in Vienna for 2 semesters at the Technical University, and I never used my Czech until today. But I will do my best and speak Czech. Yes, Czochralski Holding, you mentioned that. Czochralski, what does it mean? Czochralski is the name of a very famous Polish artist who was a professor at the Technical University in Berlin and Warsaw. And he was the richest Polish personality between the wars. He is very famous in both in the Czech Republic and in Poland a bit less, but it's someone who was the founding father of energy industry. He had his office and he had 2 things. He had a thing to write with, and the second one was, I don't know how it's called in Czech, it's rtęć in Polish. Yes? Yes, someone speaks Polish here? Yeah. And he made a mistake, and all electronic circuits were established thanks to crystals. And there were also semiconductors that were created at the time. And 3 years ago, I met his children of the scientist. And we wanted to mention this famous name again and call our company that deals with hydrogen now with his surname. In 1995, Slovakia bought a villa of Professor Czochralski, and the Slovak embassy in Warsaw is situated there in this villa. And you already have one hydrogen project in Czochralski. And I'm in the same office as Joanna in Görlitz. We call it the same building, but it's actually the Transformation Center in Görlitz. But there is the seat of Czochralski Holding that deals with hydrogen projects in Poland. But we also have a hydrogen studio. That's a Polish-German project, cooperation with the University in Heidelberg in Saxony and the Technical University in Hanover. So this is what we do at this moment.
Tady máte něco o profesoře Czochralském.
Here there is a brief summary of the work of Professor Czochralski for you. Now, Polish hydrogen strategy and Poland as a party that is very active and involved in hydrogen development. This is what we wanted to show you today. But I also wanted to mention Polish hydrogen valleys. We have 9 of them. And I have to say, unfortunately, none of those valleys produces green hydrogen. The issue is that physical rights do not change, as we say in Poland. And hydrogen production uses only 2 chemical methods that we know. The first method is the gas production, the reforming methodology, and the second one is hydrolysis. And there we produce hydrogen from water. But unfortunately, I have to say it, and I'm not happy about it, that in Poland, our hydrogen valleys were only political initiatives. And the old government or the new government just established those hydrogen valleys so that they can place some political actors there and they get some profiling from this activity. But it is an example of just an initiative that is purely political. There was a president who came and said, unfortunately, we don't want you here because we have our own plans in Silesia. So unfortunately, I have to say this, those hydrogen valleys are not really in touch, not just with universities and not in contact with industry, but they are not really in touch with small companies that would be really essential. And I think for Joanna and her initiative, it is a shame that those partners are not present in hydrogen valleys, and that's an issue, I think. If we want to perceive Poland as hydrogen market, we are number 3 in Europe and number 5 in the entire world. But I would even say we are number 2 in Europe. It is not something that's so important whether we are number 2 or 3 in Europe. We are a country that produces 5 million tons of hydrogen, but we export this hydrogen. But in Poland, the situation is as follows. Everyone who consumes hydrogen produces hydrogen for themselves. And it is clear that the type of hydrogen that we produce in Poland is not something that we can keep at the end of the day. One of the things that I would like to tell you that you should take home from this day, just one more thing, one thing that's important. The transport of hydrogen is 100 times more expensive than the transport of electricity. Just let it sink in, this fact, and try to imagine how the involved parties and regions should work with hydrogen when you know this fact. Now we have the largest hydrogen producers and consumers in Poland, an overview. And here we have a network of petrol refueling stations in Poland. There are around 10 of them, but there are no hydrogen stations yet where you can refuel your passenger cars. You know, 350 bar and 700 bar, this standard. All the refueling stations are 700 bar. So you really have to pay attention what type you need, whether 350 or 700 bar.
skupina Polsat, není to žádná
the group Polsat, well, this is not a PR for Polsat, but they have their own refueling stations. And you can take a look online or give them a call, because a few months ago I used to drive a hydrogen car. So I went to a refueling station and there was just 350 bar available. So this network of refueling stations is not really sufficient. We have 100 to 120 private hydrogen cars, but the infrastructure is not sufficient yet. But it gets better. So what are our investments in hydrogen transport in Poland? All start in Szczecin, in the south, well, going to the south from Szczecin, I mean to Tarnów. But where is hydrogen manufactured? Well, we need hydrogen pipelines in Poland. In Germany, everyone wants to use the existing gas networks to transport hydrogen, but it is not possible in Poland, and in the Czech Republic neither. We need to produce hydrogen exactly in the same town where it's going to be consumed. But I think this is again a chance for the Czech Republic. And why? Why is that? I'm going to explain it now.
What do you think? What is the percentage of the final price of hydrogen? How much percent is energy? It's 80 to 85%. If we produce hydrogen locally in the Czech Republic, around the clients purchasing hydrogen, then you have a chance to produce and use everything locally. What are the best sources of energy that can produce hydrogen? There was a mistake in Poland that they thought that hydrogen can only be produced from photovoltaics, from the sun. No, that's not true. What is the share of how much does it cost to produce hydrogen from electrolysis? It operates 500 hours or 1,000 hours a year or 4,000 hours a year or 6,000 hours a year. If it is 6,000, then you have the photovoltaics, wind, and accumulators, batteries. Only in this case, with this triangle, you can produce hydrogen that will be fast and commercial. The Czech Republic can produce hydrogen quite cheap. It does not have to rely only on importing hydrogen from Poland or Germany, from other countries, for example, the US. Let's go back. I would like to say a few words about Poland. Let's look at Poland. You cannot not see the largest player, Orlen, that is also well known in the Czech Republic. And why Orlen? They do the agricultural chemistry, artificial fertilizers. They produce petroleum, and this is 80% of hydrogen that they use. I also know that Orlen is a powerful player in the Czech Republic too. And they invest a lot into hydrogen. And it can also come from Polish Orlen. It means that the Czech Republic is, from Poland's perspective, a highly important partner, the third biggest partner of Poland internationally. Number one is Germany. Number two, well, it used to be Ukraine and Russia and the related countries, and number three is the Czech Republic. We can see it, we are neighbors, and we are also very good partners.
říct, že proč
Let me just
nemáme
say
těch vodovodů.
why we do not have hydrogen pipelines in the Czech Republic or Poland.
Je velmi dobrá, bo musíme tam udělat
There are high opportunities for hydrogen, but we have to produce hydrogen by ourselves.
Evropská unie má nějaké regulace, kteří se
There are
že
some laws of the European Union which say that if you want to have green certified hydrogen,
zdroje, které mají tu smlouvu na prodej energie,
you need to have the necessary agreements for this, necessary contracts. It needs to be a specific power plant, not just any power plant, just any photovoltaic farm. It should not be older than 3 years. For green hydrogen, it's impossible to buy hydrogen from abroad, for example, if you are in the Czech Republic. No, that's not possible. You have got one market, and it's not possible for the certification. And third aspect, if you buy energy within the PPA system, and you are not in a city where you have 90% green energy, then you, as a producer of green hydrogen, need to only produce or purchase the energy in the hours when green energy is provided. And this is a big opportunity for the Czech Republic because the Czech Republic has suitable regions for solar energy and wind energy. And the Czech Republic can implement the hydrogen plant faster than Poland. Why? Poland produces 13 times more hydrogen than the Czech Republic. And in Poland, the journey is very long, or the distances are quite far. So if it's produced by those who can consume it in 2028 or 2029, we will be green. It will no longer make profit. And one more thing to say. Politicians or businessmen or small organizations may say this. They may use a certain logic for hydrogen. And you can see the slide. On the top, you can see the wind power plant, electrolyzer, and at the end, you have the consumer using hydrogen. But this is a mistake, because if we are to design hydrogen projects well, we should do it the other way around. First of all, you should look at the hydrogen consumer, and 80 to 90% of installations should be built for this final consumer. And then in 2028 or 2029, we will be able to make profit. And to conclude, I would like to tell you that in my region, we met a chairman of Hyundai. Sorry, someone from Korea. And I think that in Poland, people don't respect a chairman at all. So in 2050, there will only be 2 energy sources and information sources. First of all, it will be the internet, and second, it's the hydrogen. Water, hydrogen, all of that, these are just semi-products. And hydrogen is losing. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. And if you invite me once again, I promise that my Czech will be much better than today. Piotr, thank you very much. I may have a few comments. I would like to speak so well Polish as you speak Czech. Also, a big thank you to the interpreters. It must have been a challenge, but you have all been very good. Thank you very much for your presentations. Again, we could see many links to the topics that we already discussed. And I think that we are quite the same. You said that we have about 120 registered cars for hydrogen. We have only 29 of them. So I think that it's almost the same if we look at the size of the two countries. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear the sentence. So it's 1/3 or 1/6. Okay. Let me invite Mrs. Kateřina Konečná once again on stage, and she will join our final panel discussion. But first of all, I would like to ask her about her impressions from the presentations that she has just seen and heard. In spite of all the barriers and challenges that we can see there, what do you think? All these efforts, do they have a meaning? Do they serve the purpose? And by the way, there are 2 Slidos open, and you should use the opportunity of asking questions using Slido. Thank you. I'll be brief. When I listened to the presentations, I was telling myself that if you can cooperate so well in the Czech Republic, but also cross-border, then if we were able to cooperate so well in the European Parliament, then we would already been able to celebrate. Reality can be a very strong argument for European institutions, be it the Council or the Parliament or the Commission. If we can define common goals, then using cooperation among colleagues, but also among countries, we can achieve our targets much sooner. We will see whether the Commission will decide to only review the delegated act. I think that it's not suitable for everyone. So what is important is that we find a qualified minority or just some countries that will support our opinion. When we started with nuclear energy 10 years ago, we were not allowed to speak about it, but thanks to an alliance of countries, we think that we have achieved a lot. I think that we have a big chance there, but perhaps we should just shift it to a higher political level using specific projects. Sometimes the politicians have something written on a paper and they think that it's going to wait, but when you see the specific plans and something that is really going on, then it's hard to find why it shouldn't be done, why it shouldn't be changed, why it shouldn't be emphasized. So much to the presentations, and thank you very much for them. Kateřina, thank you. I hope that cooperation within the European Parliament will be successful, and we are quite successful at the regional level. Thank you very much. We have another 15 minutes. We can be informal. Of course, I've prepared some questions, but I'll be glad if we interact all together. The first question to Frederik. We are living in a bubble in the Czech Republic, and we think that in Germany everything goes on well, that you have the money for everything, You can coordinate everything efficiently. Is it really so ideal in Germany? How have you achieved what you have achieved?
I don't want to complain. Of course, it can always be better. It can always be worse. Maybe let me put it let me answer in two ways. One being that if we have a look at our HIC, for example, our initial plan was to maybe open the proving ground, the first section of the construction, this year when Chemnitz is the cultural capital of Europe, because we thought it might be a nice PR stunt to kind of combine culture and technology and blah, blah. You see that I'm here and I'm only showing you some PowerPoint slides, so that's that. On the other side of things, I do get, and it was quite interesting for me, especially to listen to your presentation regarding the general opinion about the technology. We used to have kind of a format in Germany that was called Roadshow E-Mobility, and I took part in that, and basically the concept was that we would go to some small town events, festivals, bring in a hydrogen car, do some handshake with the Lord Mayor, and then basically let the people test drive the car. And it was really, I did this 2 times in Saxony, and I was really surprised by the general approach of the people who were like, yes, this is what you have to do. No battery cars. You should do more hydrogen. Why is hydrogen getting so small attention by the politics? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm here due to your taxpayers' money. I wouldn't say that's the case. So I think in general these there are of course also these kind of gaps in the knowledge that you mentioned, and we are trying our best to kind of tackle them. But I'm not going to sit here on stage having received that big letter of funding and complaining about how things are going. I think that's not a good position.
Ani bych to neočekával, Frederiku, ta moje otázka, věřím, že jste ji porozuměl, proč byla položena.
So I hope that you understood why I asked this question, and thank you for your answer. Joanna, now a question for you. We've known each other for a long time, you've mentioned it as well, and in the context of development of transforming activities, transformation of coal regions, for example, 6 or 7 years ago we did not discuss hydrogen valleys at the time yet, but it is clear that there is a huge potential, and we've seen that in all of our presentations. Do you see this as a realistic potential, and do you trust this potential? What do you think should happen in your region so that the results are more tangible, clearer, so that you are happy and you can tell yourself, yes, this is the right direction?
I think that the first thing that should happen in my region is getting into the fair transition, so JFT. But the second, connected with the hydrogen, when you see something existing, you can believe it. As you said, Frederik, when someone will come with a hydrogen car, it's completely different that you are showing the PowerPoint presentation. So I think that the time when we will do our biogas with electrolyzer in Bogatynia, this will be the first place nearby the Poland, Germany and the Czech Republic that you can come and see it. It's completely different. I have been for the first time, I didn't see hydrogen, yet. Have you seen hydrogen? I have seen it when it was burning in Warsaw. There is an institute for hydrogen, and I have seen the pink flame. And it is completely different than hearing about it. So I think that the first step for the people, for the transition, for the hydrogen, for the coal regions, to believe in hydrogen is to see something in our territory. So this little project, it's little for you, but for us it's very big because it's 120 million zloty. How much it is? You are good with counting.
I think it's
8 milionů korun.
8 milionů korun. Okay. So this biotech project, it's not so big as yours, but when people will see it, that next to power plant and the coal mine, so the brown way of thinking, the old way of thinking, is growing up something completely new, which is working, I think it will open their minds and their eyes. Yeah.
Definitely. Frederik,
if I might have a comment on that, I'm completely with you, and I would like to add that this is also what we're trying to achieve with our activities more on an economic scale of things, that we make it visible that this is a market where you can sell your products. And I completely understand every business owner of an SME somewhere in the Konečná region who says, I don't really have the head for like caring about my energy supply after 2045, because I can barely make it through this year because of the situation that the economy is in. But then being able to kind of showcase that this might actually be something, or this might be a market where you can transition also your know-how and your processes and maybe even your products to have a sustainable future besides the internal combustion engine. I think that's a really important point that we are trying to make.
Thank you very much for this response as well. Piotr, if you want to reply, you have the floor. Piotr doesn't want to respond, so I think, Piotr, in your presentation, it was evident from Joanna's presentation as well as yours, of course, what you presented showed us, and you were not present yesterday, but we heard it yesterday as well, that we could speak really openly about the S-curve, whether we are in the valley of death and very pessimistic, or whether we are already rising and being a bit more optimistic, more positive, more rational. And I can feel it this way, that there are still some skeptical aspects regarding hydrogen projects, but at the same time, there are so many projects that are ready to explode and are waiting for their implementation. Is it the same for you? Yes, I can see it in a similar way. I think it's similar in Poland and in the Czech Republic. This year, 2028, that's the milestone when the old time is over and the new era begins with the Green Deal from Europe and with new green regulations. So the question is, if we need, or whether we need the hydrogen or not. No, that's not the question. The question is, where shall we get hydrogen from? And it is not about green metals and plastic and agricultural policy. In the year 2028, that's going to be the milestone when hydrogen industry will be established, needs to be established. So it is not just a prognosis, that's a fact. But now we really have to say that we only have 3 years for that to prepare. We need to prepare for that. And that's not enough time, That's not a lot of time. Because we say in Poland, this entire process, from the beginning of a project until the implementation, takes 3 to 5 years. And we already passed 2 years now. But the year 2028 is for me the milestone where it's going to explode. Thank you, Petr. Joanna, would you like to respond? No?
Paní Konečná, jestli chcete z toho, co jste slyšela, ještě okomentovat.
Mrs. Konečná, would you like to comment on something from what you have heard? From what I heard today, also during the morning block, and I will use this term once again. We are just before the explosion, in the positive sense of the word, and I firmly believe that the chicken egg problem that was discussed heavily yesterday is only a question of time. and it's going to be resolved. And I'm optimistic about this. And this is because I can see the intensive activities of companies that are performed despite the obstacles. Companies come up with new ideas, also on a small scale. Joanna, you mentioned the electrolyzer of 2 kilowatts. These are the solutions that make sense, I think, because you need to start somewhere. And I think that the main message from today should be that we should be optimistic all the time. We should remain optimists, and that should be probably the motto also for the next forum. And I firmly believe that, as Mrs. Konečná has said, I hope that during the next forum we will be able to open bottles of champagne. We believed that we would open them already during the previous forum. We focused on e-mobility in Usti nad Labem. This project was postponed, suspended, and that's why we need optimism. We still have 5 minutes. As I have told you, Slido is available for your questions, and there is a poll opened for you. I will go to Slido. What do you think is key, and what do you think we need so that hydrogen valleys become a driver of transition, not just a pilot experiment? And from the answers that we have collected, there are not so many of them, I can feel that the most important thing is cooperation between research, municipalities and companies. And this cooperation then generates business opportunities. So it's nice to hear it. Frederik, would you like to comment on this?
Yes, please. And I would also bring in a comment that Ms. Konečná made in her entry speech when you were like, asking for a stronger cooperation between the ministries. And I think this is a really, really important point that we all have to work on, because hydrogen has this beautiful thing to it that you can use it in so many sectors and so many applications are thinkable and usable, which is especially, I think, important in that kind of ramp-up phase for the market. But on the other hand, on a political level, that also means it is a really, really nice opportunity to kind of just push the responsibilities to someone else, because you say, yeah, but also referring to your first question, for example, we try to implement or to lobby stronger for funding for mobile working machineries, maybe also in the agricultural sector, with that kind of repurposing that Daniel was suggesting for the cars. And then you start to run through the ministries. You go to the Ministry of Transport and it says, yeah, okay, it has wheels, but it not goes on the street, so it's not our responsibility. Go to the Ministry of Economics. They say, yes, it has wheels, back to Ministry of Transport. And then you can spend like months and years to look who's responsible for that. I don't know, maybe you have good plans and opportunities on that, and on how we can, in our roles as association, kind of push for that really, really needed collaboration between those political institutions.
Yeah, it's almost the same. We have the similar situation. I'm really, hydrogen is a part of energy transition, and energy context in Poland is in 6 ministries. And they even don't know inside who I should ask or do something. We have a commission in our parliament last month about sub-region Turów and the state of where we are and when we are. And all 4 ministries said different things. So, I think it's mostly the same European Union. DG Ener, DG different, and but we cannot only depend on what the institutions, the ministries, the Commission will do. We have to speak up loudly. Our voice should be heard, and I'm happy that on such a conference you have such a good guest here, that here all the things about the hydrogen, because when our voice will be heard, we can change something. And of course, not only by the politicians, but also with our communities. It's very important.
Já myslím, že lépe bych to asi ani nedokázal uzavřít.
I think that I would not be able to find a better concluding note. Thank you for this, Joanna. I would like to thank all of you. Thank you very much for your participation in today's A block, focusing on international cooperation in the area of hydrogen. I hope that our presentations showed that it makes sense to cooperate in the area of hydrogen internationally. We will further work on it. I would like to thank Mrs. Konečná for joining us in this panel discussion, and thank you for your efforts in Europe. Thank you, Joanna, thank you, Piotr, and thank you, Frederik. And I'm looking forward to our flourishing cooperation. Thank you very much for your time.
Si dovolím minimálně náš blok
Let me
označit za uzavřený.
conclude this block of our hydrogen forum.
Máme příležitost využít oběd, prosím.
You have the opportunity of using lunch in the restaurant from 12 to 1 p.m. and enjoy lunch. And I'll be happy to see you next time. Thank you.